Whatever you do, make sure you visit AshKickin.com for your home fragrance, health, and beauty needs. Quality products at a great price.
Hi, you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. Woo! Hey. Yeah.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? Boy, I'm telling you right now, it is getting very, very interesting how things are playing out and beginning to unravel right before our eyes. And the reason why I say this is because Gennady Golovkin's promoter, Tom Loeffler, he did an interview today, and he talked about who they would love to fight at 168, assuming this guy beats Canelo Alvarez on May 6th. Of course, that's Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Now, the first thing I want to say is there's nothing wrong with that fight. And if Chavez beats Canelo, I agree with what Tom Loeffler said. That puts Chavez right back on top. And that makes for a very lucrative fight, especially for Golovkin, for that to be his first fight going back, or going up to 168, I should say. So that, it makes sense. But what makes the whole situation so ironic is the timing. The timing that Tom Loeffler said this. Because it's just a funny coincidence that he says this a day after me and my man Town Business, who broke the news that Team Ward, they're willing to come down to 168 and fight Gennady Golovkin if Golovkin moves to 168. So I thought that was pretty interesting that Team Golovkin, they haven't responded yet, at least not that I know of. Now, if you guys know of any articles or any interviews that I didn't catch where Team Golovkin, they did respond to Ward and Team Ward saying they'll meet Golovkin at 168, you guys let me know, put it in the comment section. But for now, I'm not aware of any. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Listen, I'm just going to tell you guys this right now, point blank. If Andre Ward beats Sergey Kovalev in a rematch and he challenges Gennady Golovkin at 168 and Golovkin doesn't take that fight, it ain't enough hope insurance in the world that's going to cover Golovkin for a move like that. And that is for sure. I talked about journalism and real journalism on one of my videos I did a couple days ago. I talked about reporters asking these softball questions because maybe they're more of a fan of that fighter as opposed to actually being a reporter. The reason why I say this is because wouldn't you think a reporter would ask Team Golovkin, what do you think about top 3 pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world, Andre Ward, saying he'll come down to 168 and fight you if you go up to 168? Why wouldn't a reporter ask Tom Loeffler, Abel Sanchez, or Gennady Golovkin that question? The only reason he wouldn't ask that question is because he feels that he needs to protect one of his favorite fighters. And that is not reporting. If you cannot separate your personal emotions and feelings from doing your job, then that is a conflict of interest. Okay? If you're sitting over here saying to yourself, oh man, I don't want to bring up Andre Ward's name because Andre Ward might beat Golovkin, so let's not ask questions like that, that's a conflict of interest. So, we'll see. At the end of the day, we'll see what Golovkin does. We'll see what Ward does against Kovalev in a rematch. Because all we know right now is Andre Ward, he's already made it clear he'll come down to 168. Kovalev is not going to come down to 168 and fight Gennady Golovkin. So the only hope we have is Andre Ward beats Kovalev, and then he waits for Golovkin at 168. I mean, of course, just like I said, Canelo versus Chavez is a great sideshow, very entertaining fight. But at this point, it does nothing for Canelo Alvarez's legacy, his pound-for-pound status. If he wants to, be considered a pound-for-pound fighter, it does nothing for that status. But of course, if Chavez beats Canelo Alvarez, then no doubt about it, that still would be a better win for Golovkin if he were to fight Chavez. But if that were to play out that way, after a Chavez fight, Golovkin would have absolutely no excuse to not go up against the number one undisputed pound-for-pound champion, Andre Ward, assuming Andre Ward takes care of business against Kovalev in a rematch. Yeah, Chavez is a lucrative, good fight if Chavez beats Canelo, but nothing compares to fighting against pound for pound the best fighter in the world, right? So let's just see what happens. Let's see how all this plays out. You know, it's crazy because I keep telling you 2017 is the best year of boxing in probably the last 20 years. But while we have all these other fighters fighting the best competition, we have Canelo Alvarez fighting Julio Cesar Chavez. And we have Golovkin talking about fighting the winner of that fight. Now, once again, the fact that Golovkin wants to unify the belts, nothing wrong with that. He wants to fight BJ next, nothing wrong with that. But after he unifies those belts, we want to start seeing him in those Thurman Garcia type fights, in those Charlo Julian Williams type fights, in those Lomachenko Walters, Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalev, type fights. These are the type of fights we want to see Golovkin in. Golovkin versus Jacobs 2 type fight. See, because now that fight has already been upgraded, because now, since we've seen how close the first fight is, we know that if Golovkin gives Jacobs a rematch, we know now for the first time, Golovkin going into a fight, he will be going into a 50-50 fight. For the first time, he'll be going in where we won't know who's going to win the fight because of what we just seen last weekend. Okay? So let's see what happens. Let's see what Team Golovkin has to say, because eventually they're going to respond to what Team Ward said. It should be interesting to hear what they have to say. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
This is Bobby, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.